Hello everyone, welcome back to AI for Product Managers. I am Pranav, and today we are kicking off phase 2 of this series, the hands-on toolkit phase. If you watched phase 1, you know we have covered the fundamentals, what is AI, how LLMs work, the landscape, all important stuff we have covered. But this from this episode forward, no more theory. Every single video is a tactical demo. You can use it in your work tomorrow morning. And we are starting with this thing every PM spends way too much of time on, which is on writing PRDs, right? I used to spend around 8 hours on a single PRD on research, draft, rewrite, format, review, right? So 8 hours. Now it comes to 45 minutes, and honestly, the output is better because I'm spending my energy on judgment calls instead of sentence construction. Today I'm going to show you the exactly how I do it, the live on screen no cuts, but by the end of this video you will have a framework you can use it on your very next PRD. Okay, so let's go. Let me put some numbers on this so you understand the scale of the problem. The average PM spends 30% of their working time on documentation, right? So that's not my opinion. That's from multiple PM surveys. 30% a day and half every single week just writing things down. And here is what AI changes. It can handle 80% of this first draft, the structure, the phrasing, the formatting, and the boilerplate, right? So you handle the 20% that actually matters, the product judgment, the prioritization decisions, and the context that only you have, right? This is not about replacing your thinking, it's about accelerating everything around your thinking, right? So you still decide what to build. AI just helps you document it faster. So here is what we are covering today, the five things. One, the PRD writing workflow with AI, step by step, start to finish, no theory, actual process. Prompt templates that actually work. I have tested dozens. I'll give you the ones that consistently produce quality output. And three, how to structure context for better outputs. This is the secret most PMs miss. The quality of your prompt determines the quality of your PRD. The four, the common mistakes PM makes with AI writing. I have made all of them. I'll save you the pain. And five, a live demo. I'm going to write a PRD from scratch on screen. In about 15 minutes, you will see exactly what it looks like in practice. Now, let's be honest about what PRD writing actually looks like for most of the PMs. And I mean actually looks like, not the neat process we describe in interviews. You open a blank doc, you stare at it, you write a sentence, delete it, you go look at a competitor's features for inspiration, and you come back, you write three user stories, realize that they are wrong, and rewrite them again, right? You spend 30 minutes formatting a table that nobody will read carefully anyway. You realize you forgot edge cases, you add them back. Then your engineering lead reads the whole thing and say about what about X? And you spend another hour adding the sections you should have thought of earlier, right? Sounds familiar, right? Every PM I know has this experience. And here is the insight that changed everything for me. Most of that time is not spent on thinking, it's spent on typing, the structuring, the formatting, right? The how do I phrase this clearly part. The mechanical labor of turning your thoughts into polished prose. That's exactly what AI is good at, the mechanical part of writing. So let's use it for that and free up your brain for the part that actually matters, the product decisions, right? Now let me break down what the old way actually cost you in hours versus what the new way looks like. The old way, and I'm being generous here, it takes 8 plus hours. Like research competitors take 2 hours, outline the structure take another hour, 1 hour, write the first drafts will take 3 hours in minimum, then rewrite and polish take another 1.5 hour, format and get it review ready. It takes 30 minutes. Uh, Total over 8 hours for one document. The new way with AI is like set you context and constraints, which takes around 5 minutes. Generate the first drafts takes 2 minutes. Literally, iterate 3 to 4 rounds of feedback takes 20 minutes. Add your domain knowledge, the stuff only you know, which takes 10 minutes. Final review and ship in 8 minutes. Total comes around 45 minutes, right? And here is the thing people miss, the 45-minute version is not worse. It's often better because you are spending your energy on the judgment calls, right? What should be in scope, what's the right success metrics, and what are all the real edge cases instead of spending it on sentence construction, right? The goal is not just speed, it's freeing up your brain for the decisions that actually matter. Now, okay, so how do you actually do this? I have tried dozens of approaches to prompting AI for PRDs. Most of them produce generic garbage that could apply to any product at any company, but I have landed on a framework that consistently produces 80% of quality first drafts. I call it the three-layer framework, right? The layer one is context. This is most important one. You need to tell the AI who you are, right? What your product is and what stage you are at. Without this, you get generic advice that could apply to any product. With it, you get specific relevant output. For example, I am a PM at a B2B SaaS platform with 50,000 enterprise users. We are Series C engineering team of 40 and we ship bi-weekly. That context now that is context, right? Now the AI knows not to suggest things that only work for startups or consumer apps or companies with just 3 engineers, right? When it comes to layer two, which is the task, what specifically do we need, right? In what format, with what sections? So be explicit. Don't say write PRD. Say write PRD with these 7 sections in Moscow priority format with Gherkin style acceptance criteria. The more specific your task description, the less you will need to edit later, right? And layer 3 is constraints. This is where most people fail. They skip it entirely. You need to tell the AI what the boundaries are, right? The timeline, the team size, technical constraints, audience tone, length, right? The constraints make the output realistic instead of aspirational. For example, keep it under 3 pages, engineering audience, 6 week timeline, team of 4, no new infrastructure. Without these constraints, AI will suggest building a spaceship when you need a bicycle. Okay. Think of it like briefing a junior PM. You wouldn't just say write a PRD. You would say here is the context, here is what I need, here are the guardrails. Same thing with AI, right? Brief it properly and get better output. So now let me give you the actual template I use. This is my master prompt for PRDs. I'm going to put it on screen and walk through it. It starts with a role assignment. You are a senior product manager at so and so company type. This sets the AI perspective and tone. Then the task with all inputs like feature name, context about the problem, target users, success metrics, and constraints, each one on its own line so it's clear. Then I specify the exact structure I want, like problem statement, goals, and success metrics. User stories in a as a I want so that format, requirement in must, should, nice priorities, and edge cases and error states, out of scope, and open questions as well. So finally, tone and audience, like technical but accessible, audience engineering plus design. Okay. This template is your starting point. You will customize it for your product, but the structure works for any PRD. I'll drop a link to this template in the description so you can copy it. Now let me show you the difference this makes in practice. I am going to type two prompts and show you the output from each. Like first is like bad prompt. This is what most PMs type when they first try AI. So let me open ChatGPT and just try this thing. Write me a PRD for a notification feature. So if I enter it, see, see what we get it. It's fine. It's technically a PRD. It has sections, but it's completely generic, right? It could be for Slack or a banking app or a gaming platform. There is no specificity here, right? So no real constraints, no edge cases that matter for your product. It's the A equivalent of a Wikipedia article. That's it. Okay, it gives you all the sections, but it's too generic. Okay. Now see what we get it. Um, Now watch what happens when I use this three-layer framework. I'm going to type the good prompt. I have a prompt already. Let me copy it. Let's see here. Look at the difference. It's talking about my users, my constraints, my success metrics. It's already thinking about notification priority scoring, quite has digest modes, escalation rules, because I gave it enough context to reason about the problem intelligently, right? So it even flagged all the edge cases. Yeah, all the edge cases were flagged. I hadn't thought of what happens when user is in do not disturb mode but receives a critical system alert. So this is the difference between a 5-minute prompt and a 5-second prompt. The extra investment in context pays off 100x in output quality every time. Okay. Okay. And yeah, now here is the thing most people get wrong with AI writing. They take the first output and do one of two things. Either they ship it as is, with which is lazy and dangerous, or they throw it away and say AI does not work, which is wasteful, right? The magic is in the iteration. Think of first output as a rough draft from a junior PM. You wouldn't ship their first draft either. You would coach them. You would say this is good, but about what about X, right? Can you go deeper on why? Same thing with AI. Here are my five go-to follow-up strategies. Deepen. The first one is deepen. So expand the edge cases section. What happens when a user has notifications disabled at the OS level? What about users in multiple time zones? And what about users who are in both a Slack channel and email? Do they get duplicate alerts? And the challenge, second one is challenge. What are the top three technical risks with this approach, and how would you mitigate each one of them? What assumptions are we making that might be wrong, right? And third one is reformat. Convert the user stories to Jerkin format, given when then make a acceptance criteria testable, or rewrite the requirement section assuming we only have 3 weeks instead of 6. What gets cut? Okay. And simplify. Rewrite the executive summary for a non-technical stakeholder, remove all jargon, make it understandable to our CEO in 30 seconds, right? And compete. How would Slack, Notion, or Figma solve this notification problem differently? and what can we learn from their approach. Okay, so see how each iteration adds depth. By round 3 or 4 you have something that 90% there. Your job is the final 10%, right? The judgment calls, the political context, the things only you know about your organization. The AI is not getting tired, it's not getting defensive about the feedback, it's just improves. So use that. Okay, so I'll quickly test this reformat and see what we will get it from AI. So it gives Gherkin acceptance criteria with all user stories, admin configuration. There are 5 user stories, digest delivery, suppress duplicate notification, bundle low priority notification, immediate delivery and critical alerts, right? And success criteria validation also it gave. And if timeline reduced from 6 weeks to 3 weeks, you can see a stronger PM answer is to protect the KPI and cut anything that does not directly contribute to reducing notification volume. So these are the key must deliver features and the reasons for the same, and these are the cuts like user preferences. These are nice to have. Escalation workflows and the revised Moscow you can see. Okay, so you can also ask this compete thing. How about Slack, Notion, or Figma? Can see Slack philosophy. Slack assumes the most messages are noise instead of notifying users about everything. Slack tries to notify users only when they are explicitly involved. See lessons for our notification system. Instead of asking, should we send this notification, ask, does this notification require action from this user or not? Yeah, you can try this out, um, all these things. So it will work for sure. Okay, let me save you some pain. Here is here are the 5 mistakes I see PMs make and have made all of them myself when using AI for writing, right? Mistake 1, being too vague, right? Write a PRD is not a prompt, it's a wish. It's like telling an intern makes the product better. And add context, add constraints, specify your format. The more specific you are, the less editing you will do afterwards. And the mistake 2, accepting the first draft as a final one. Never ever always iterate. At least 3 times, 3 rounds for each PRD. Okay. The first draft is a starting point, a lump of clay, not a sculpture. Your iterations shape it into something worth sharing. Okay. And the mistake 3, not adding your domain knowledge. AI does not know that your VP hates long documents. It does not know your engineering team just had a bad experience with microservices and will push back on that architecture. It does not know your biggest customer threatened to churn last week. You know these things, right? Layer them in after the AI generates the structure. Okay. And the mistake 4, ignoring hallucinations. These are the dangerous one. AI will confidently cite statistics that does not exist. It will reference features that are not real. It will make claims about your users that are completely wrong. And it will do it in a tone that sounds authoritative. Verify every data point, every metric, every claim. If you can't verify it, then remove it. And the mistake 5, using AI for decisions instead of drafts. AI should write, you should decide. If you are letting AI tell you what to build, you are abdicated your job as a PM. Okay, so use it for the mechanical work, the structuring, the freezing, the formatting. So keep the judgment, the prioritization, the should we even do this for yourself. Okay. So PRDs are just the beginning. Once you have the three-layer framework down, you can apply it to literally everything you write as a PM. User stories, give it a persona, a scenario, and tell it to use acceptance criteria format. I'm seeing 70% of time savings here, and what used to take an hour takes 20 minutes. Okay. Release notes. This one is almost magical. Feed it your Git commits or change log and tell it the audience is external customers. Internal technical notes become customer facing announcements in seconds, and 80% time savings because the AI is great at translations between audiences. And stakeholder updates. Give it bullet points of what happened this sprint. Tell it the audience is your VP who has 2 minutes to read this, and it produces a polished narrative. So 60% of savings, no more staring at blank email at 5 p.m. on Friday. Okay. And competitive analysis. Give it a structure and ask it to compare specific dimensions. You still need to verify everything. AI does not always have current competitor info, but the framework and structure save you hours. And interview guides. Tell it your research goals, user segment and constraints like 30 minutes max, remote video call, they are busy executives. So it generates thoughtful questions you would have spent an hour writing. So 65% of savings come from this. So the pattern is always the same: context, task, constraints. It works for everything you write. So master it once, use it everywhere. So before I move on, one critical thing: just because AI helped you write it does not mean it's ready to share. You need a quality gate here. Okay. So here is my checklist before I send any AI assisted document to anyone. Does it reflect your product judgment, not generic AI advice? If I reads like it could have been written for any product, right? You haven't added enough of yourself. So all data points and metrics accurate, AI hallucination numbers, verify every single one against real data. Okay, does it address your user specific context, not generic users, your users with their specific problems? Okay, have you added edge cases the AI missed? It always misses some, right? The weird ones that only you know about because you have talked to the customers. So is the scope realistic for your team and timeline? AI does not know your team is burned out or that half of them are on vacation next month. And the ultimate test: would you be proud to present this to your VP? If the answer involves squimming, it's not ready. Okay. The rule of thumb is if you can defend every line in a meeting, it's not ready to share. So one more power move before we wrap up. If you are using ChatGPT or Cloud regularly, and as a PM, you should be set up custom instructions or a system prompt. Okay, this is a persistent context that applies to every conversation. So instead of re-explaining your company, your team, your methodology every single time you start a new chart, you set it once and it's always there in the background. Okay, and here is mine. You are my AI product management assistant. I work at fintech company serving 2 million users. Our tech stack is React, Node, PostgreSQL. We use shape-up methodology with 6-week cycles. My team is 2 engineers, 1 designer, 1 data scientist. Current priority is reducing churn in the first 30 days. So now every time I ask for a PRD, user stories or analyst, it already knows my context. So I don't waste the first three messages setting the scene, right? So it jumps straight to the useful output. So if you are using Cloud specifically, you can also create projects with uploaded documents, your existing PRDs, your product strategy doc, your user research findings. The AI can reference all of it when generating new content. It's like giving your AI assistant access to your team's shared drive, so which is a game changer. So spend 10 minutes setting this up today. You will save hours over the next month, I promise. So, quick comparison of three main tools you will use for PM writing. I'm going to be opinionated here, because you don't need a balanced review, you need a recommendation, right? So, ChatGPT with GPT 4.0 is great for quick iterations and brainstorming. It's fast, it follows instructions well, and the conversation flow is smooth. So when I need something quick, reformat this, the shorten that, give me five alternatives. ChatGPT is my go-to. And Cloud Sonnet is my pick for complex PRDs and deep analysis. It handles nonce better, catches more edge cases unprompted, and is noticeably less likely to hallucinate. The 200K context window means you can feed it your entire product strategy doc plus competitor analysis plus user research, and it still has room to work. So for serious documents, Cloud wins here. Gemini Pro is solid for research heavy work where you need to process a lot of data, the 1 million context window, which is massive, but I find it less precise for structured document generation compared to other two. So my workflow, Cloud for the initial PRD generation when I need depth and accuracy, ChatGPT for quick follow-ups, reformatting, and brainstorming alternatives. Use both. They are just $20 per month each, and they're best $40 a PM can spend in a month, right? So, all right, homework time. Three things to do before episode 12. One, write one real PRD with AI this week. Not a practice one, a real feature you are actually working on. Use a three-layer framework, context, task, constraints. Time yourself. I bet you will be shocked at how fast it goes compared to your usual process. And two, try same prompt in both ChatGPT and Cloud. Compare the output side by side. Notice what each one does better. And where does Cloud catch edge cases that ChatGPT misses? Where is ChatGPT faster or more conversational? So build your intuition for when to use which tool. Okay, three, set up your custom instructions or system prompt. It's 10 minutes of work that save hours over the next month. So do it tonight while it's fresh. So in episode 2, we are going deep on AI-powered user research. I'm going to show you how to synthesize 100 user interviews in minutes, so finding patterns that would take human researcher weeks to uncover. So we will cover the full pipeline, like transcription, chunking analysis, synthesis, plus when AI research works great and when it completely fails. So it's one of the most powerful applications of AI for PMs, right? And nobody talking about it properly. So if this was useful, subscribe, hit the bell, and drop a comment. What's the longest you have ever spent writing a single PRT? I want to hear your uh, honest user stories. Okay. And yeah, remember the best PMs don't write faster, they think faster and let AI handle the typing. So, three things to remember: context, task, constraints, the three-layer framework, always iterate. First drafts are starting points and verifying everything because AI hallucinates and you are accountable. So I am Pranav. This is AI for Product Managers, phase 2, and I'll see you in episode 12. Thank you.